Today on our 9-month ultimate world cruise adventure is spectacularly anticlimactic.
Welcome to Living Phase 2.
Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Nancy, and we're empty nesters striving to live life to the fullest.
And we're living that full life aboard Royal Caribbean's 9-month ultimate world cruise on Serenade of the Seas.
We sure are. Well, Mike, as we said in the intro, it was a little anticlimactic.
It was.
You want to tell them where we're at today?
Yeah, we're in Ensenada, Mexico, which actually the port itself, nothing wrong with this port. It's a nice port. Many cruise ships come here, but, there's not a lot to do. In general, Ensenada is kind of a shopping. You can go to a bar. There is one major attraction that many places will take you, and that's La Bufadora, or it's also known as the Big Blowhole. And we went ahead and took a Royal Caribbean excursion out to that. Now, one thing we will tell you is just through the circumstances that we took a Royal Caribbean excursion. Normally, we would take an SEG excursion for something like this. And if we had, honestly, it probably would have been about half the cost. And we know that because some friends of ours took an SEG version of this tour. Exactly the same tour. Buses go exactly the same place.
Yes.
And ours, we just paid about twice as much. But we had some onboard credit, and there were some reasons we took the Royal Caribbean tour in this case. But this was a good example where, taking a third-party tour can save you money and do exactly the same thing.
Right. So as we cruised in, one of the first things we saw were sea lions right there at the port. And one of them had just given birth to a baby sea lion. And we saw the mama or the daddy come up and feed the baby a little fish. And that was just precious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really was.
Then we boarded the bus and we took about a 45-minute to an hour ride around the bay of Ensenada to get to the blowhole.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, the views were nice. We actually had a view of our ship. Nothing wrong with the drive. It took a little bit. You have to drive through town, and then eventually you get to the area where La Bufadora, or the blowhole, is.
Mm-hmm. And then when we got off the bus, we're approached by, there's a lot of vendors.
Yeah,
we call it of vendors.
The gauntlet.
And it went on for several blocks, and you have to walk through these vendors. There's just one way in and one way out. So you're walking through all of them to get to the blowhole.
It's about almost a quarter mile of vendors. I will say they're not unpleasantly aggressive. No. They're handing out samples of churros and nuts and pina colada, and they're all trying to get you to buy their wares, which, they're trying to make a living. And, you politely say no or walk on, and really nobody's going to accost you.
Right.
But you just be prepared. If you go out to the blowhole, you're going to have to walk through about a quarter mile of these vendors trying to sell their wares. And so just be ready for that. Well, we made it to the end of the gauntlet.
We did. And by the way, our tour guide did say, go to the blowhole first and then do your shopping and visit the vendors on the way back, because he gave us a specific time that we needed to be back to the bus by.
Right. And they gave us about an hour and a half is what they gave us to do.
Which was a good amount of time.
That was almost the perfect amount of time to see, the blowhole. And, if you wanted to do any shopping, and then to get a little lunch at Lydia's, and we'll talk about Lydia's in a minute. Yeah. Well, we made it through the gauntlet, went down. There's a group of people at the end. We waited our turn to get to the spot where you can see this famous blowhole.
Okay, and think Old Faithful here, people.
Yeah, that's what we're thinking, right? Yeah. No. Well, in fact, here's the blowhole.
Here we go.
Okay, we're going.
It's so coming in.
Just kind of. There we go.
That was it? Here we go. Here's the big blow.
So, really, you could drink a cup of water and just
It's going to give you about the same effect. No, it was extremely anticlimactic.
We've had our laughs about
It is,
this visit.
but we have seen the amazing La Bufadora, the Ensenada blowhole, and the views were beautiful. There's overlooks,
And it was pretty there.
Yeah.
It really was
yeah.
pretty.
And overall, now you walk back through the gauntlet. Now, if you want to do some shopping, that's what we did.
We did a little tequila tasting, and all the different tequila flavors actually they were really pretty good. They had coffee flavor and I don't know, mango flavor. They had a lot of different flavors there.
Yeah.
We didn't get any tequila.
No, it was actually quite expensive.
Yeah, it really was.
They were charging quite a bit for the tequila. I mean, again, you negotiate everything here in Mexico,
Right.
but they were starting in the order of $80 for a bottle of tequila, and I was like, no, I'm not that big a tequila fan.
No.
Yeah,
But we did see as we were walking through all the vendors initially, the Super Bowl is coming up in just a week, and you saw a really kind of a cool Chiefs mug.
Yep. And so I got that. It was $20, full of pina colada, and it had a lid, a straw, had everything to it. And I think they started at 35, and I ended up getting it for 20.
Our son has already claimed it.
Yes, he said, I get that when you get home. We also found a wonderful elote stand. So for those of you who are not familiar with elote, it is roasted corn that's roasted in charcoal. Then they actually put mayonnaise, butter,
Cheese.
cheese, like, Mexican queso, some tahine, spices on it. And it was very good.
That
I
was
enjoyed
delicious.
it. Yeah.
So we ate that as we walked along. And really, we didn't get anything else
No.
other than we kind of just browsed a little bit, kind of window shopped.
Yeah. And then we went to Lydia's Tacos.
Right. And that was good because I had a lobster taco. You had a beef taco, correct?
I had beef and pork.
Okay.
And we also had a little bit of chips. It was excellent. They
was
were
really
making the tortillas. In fact, you can see that here. They were making the tortillas fresh right there, cooking them on the grill. And Lydia herself greets you. And I walked in, she ran up to me and said, "What can I get you?"
She's a hard worker.
She is.
I was impressed with her.
Yeah, and I got a refill of the pina colada with Lydia's margarita, which was excellent. Actually, it was very good margarita. And we just enjoyed having lunch. And about the time we finished up, the timing was almost perfect. And we went back to the bus and took the 45-minute to an hour ride back to the port.
Right.
And that was the La Bufadora, the blowhole. And it's worth seeing one time, I think. If you come to Ensenada, it's hard to come here and not go see the blowhole, your one time.
But it's a been there, done that for us.
Very, very much. Now, would we come back to Ensenada? It's a standard stop for a lot of cruise ships that go up and down the Mexican Riviera. So there's a good chance we'll be back to here. If we do, we'll either walk or just take the bus into town, have some tacos. Anthony Bourdain actually came to a small little tostada stand here and declared it one of the best meals he'd ever eaten. We had some friends that went there and had the tostadas, and she was raving about them.
It, yeah.
That's right. So she's going to post on that over on her TikTok channel and her YouTube channel called Point My Soul North. It's Leslie. So go over there and check out her visit to Anthony Bourdain's favorite tostado stand in the world. So that's here. We had some other friends get a haircut. I mean, very, very pedestrian things because
Right.
we're on a world cruise, and this was a good stop to go in. And in fact, we just enjoyed the stop and then went and reboarded the ship and just looked at the beautiful scenery.
And now the ship has pulled away, and we are on to our final stop of this quarter of the cruise. We're a quarter of the way done. We're getting ready to start leg 2, and we're heading to Los Angeles.
That's right. So on our next video, we'll show you Los Angeles and the sea days that came after that, because we spend a long time at sea after that on our way to Hawaii. So, already a quarter done. Isn't it amazing?
It really is.
And we thank everyone for coming along with us on this adventure, this first quarter of our Ultimate World Cruise. The outpouring of support and great comments we get, we just really appreciate it.
The world to us, friends, that you're following along. Thank you for liking, subscribing. We appreciate each
We
and every
do,
one
we
of
do.
you.
And leave us a comment. We love to hear from everybody. How are you liking these? Is there certain things you want to see? And we are going to do some live streams, things like that coming up as well as we get closer to Hawaii.
We sure are. One final thing is several of you will leave comments that, hey, I'm joining the ship at such and such location. When you do, please reach out, say hello to us. You know, breakfast and lunch, we're usually in the Windjammer. Please feel free to sit down and have a meal with us. We'd love to talk to you.
All right. We look forward to seeing you, those that are joining us on board. And
Yes.
other than that, thank you again, and we will see you on the seas.
Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye, friends.
Bye-bye now.